What's good? It's your girl Becky the Paul. Welcome to my podcast, Unspoken Words. You guys, we're in season 9, episode 82. It's been forever. All right. The last time I had an episode was 81 with Brown Goddess. Check that out. She's a dope poet. She knows all about the marketing of poetry and then the poetry world during COVID times. So we have 2 special guests.
Hi, I'm Dani. I'm a model, foodie, and a child of God.
That was very to the point. Like, that was very to the point.
Jacob was like, I didn't think about this.
I'm like, wow, that was very simplistic. And 80, I know I'm supposed to be introducing myself, but 82 episodes?
82.
Yeah.
82 episodes.
Like, we've been doing this for 2 years now?
That's
Wow.
super consistent.
Almost 3 in 2021.
That's super consistent.
Right.
Anyways.
Much respect.
Right. My name is Jacob Clayton. Based here in Dallas, Texas, full-time entrepreneur. I think I'm most known for custom suits and social media marketing. So, yeah, just a creative. Here to help any way I can.
So you guys like, where's the poetry? Where's all that other stuff? Oh, well, that stuff's taking a break, right? Let's take a break. Let's talk about like some stuff that like you're probably uncomfortable. Or let's talk about stuff like that you probably been watching, right? So if you guys don't know, back in June, like the beginning of June, Dani and Jacob together put together a little protest out in Addison, right? So the first question I want to ask is why do we protest? Like, why do we protest in general?
I feel like a lot of people want to get the message out there to many people that are not really woke about what's going on in the justice system. And I just feel like we want to be heard.
Right.
You know, Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Yeah, that's the entire point of a protest.
Yeah.
I've been organizing protests since 2012.
Okay.
So I've spent years organizing protests. And this is coming from somebody on the front lines, right? Mm-hmm. They don't create actual change. Okay, let's just, make that clear. Protests are a chance, like Dani said, for your voices to be heard.
Okay.
And cause disruption.
Okay.
But the real change comes in law.
Mm-hmm.
It comes in legislation.
Policies.
It comes in policy. It comes in procedure.
Okay.
It comes through voting. It comes in education.
Right.
Like, there are so many other ways to make change. Protesting is just a way for your voices to be heard.
Okay.
Right. So, I feel like that's a step that you can take, but there are also other things that need to be done. And as far as the protest in Addison, Dani was the brainchild behind that entire thing. Right. So didn't have anything to do with me, didn't have anything to do with Brandon. She came up to us and said, hey, I've never done this before and I need some support.
Right.
And, it's my responsibility and it's everybody else's responsibility to, when somebody is trying to do something progressive for the community, to be there. Right. Especially if you've been in that position before and you can assist.
Right.
Yeah.
So she was the brainchild behind that. And it was just, a great thing for us to be able to come in on the experience and then be included.
So I remember reading the flyer, and it's kind of funny because a lot of people heard about this protest. Like I was like, hey, there's a protest in Addison. Would you guys like to come? Because at first, I've never been to a protest.
Right.
And 2, just seeing stuff on the media like weeks before, I'm like, oh gosh, like I want to go, but I'm scared, right?
Yeah.
And also like social media kind of like pushes you to like you're supposed to be out there, right?
Right.
That's what they're telling some people who are scared, right? And I even have friends who are like, dude, like I didn't show up because I was scared. And I was like, it's okay, dude, because I felt the same way you did when I got there, it was different. So I want to go ahead and like kind of run through the mindset of like, how did you even where did you start to get the protest together?
Honestly, I was filled with a lot of emotions one day. It was actually that Monday that everything was like happening.
See, I'm trying to tell you.
Hate gnats. But I was just filled with a lot of emotions, a lot of anger. I was sad about the situation. I felt like, why is this scenario continuing to happen?
Right.
Like, let's reflect back to what happened with Trayvon Martin, Wow.
Right.
Let's reflect back to what happened to other countless situations that occurred where, Black individuals are dying under the care of, police officers.
Right.
And these are people who we're supposed to trust and be comfortable with, and I just felt what better way to do my part? Because, like, if you're not a leader, there's other ways that you can, like, be involved.
Okay.
You can share, you could post, you could sign petitions,
Right.
you know, you can educate your neighbors. You know, it's not all about just going out there and protesting.
Right.
But I just felt like, okay, how can I do my part
Right.
to educate these people outside of my Black community,
Right.
to let them be aware of, like, the countless situations that is occurring, you know, and how we can do our part, because a lot of people don't know what else to do next.
That is true.
A lot of people just are comfortable with just protesting and that's it, but there's
Right.
so much more. And I felt Addison, Texas was the place to start.
Okay.
Because I work in Addison, Texas, and I work at this restaurant called I Declare. So I've worked there for 2 years, and I've experienced, you know, racial scenarios where, you know, other guests
Right.
that are outside of, you know, being Black, that, you know, project their true feelings and they show their true colors
Right.
when it comes to, you know, the dealings of Black people.
Right.
You know, and it started off with, okay, making sure that I reach out to, like, the chief so that he understands, like,
Okay.
I'm trying
The
to
chief of Addison?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
the chief. That him and the city mayor were the first two people that I reached out
Wow,
to.
so you just went, like, on top of the chain then.
Right.
Okay.
Because originally I wanted to start it with just me and a couple of friends.
Right.
But then a lot more people showed their interest of joining.
Right. Because you
And-
posted on Instagram about who wanted to be involved, right?
Right.
Okay.
And that was the first thing. And so I was quite surprised that a lot of people reached out. And this is people not including, like, Black individuals.
Right.
Like, this
Yeah.
is white people
Yeah,
that
it's
I've never met
everybody.
before.
Right.
you know?
Everybody.
And I was quite surprised at the turnout because there were so many people of different races that showed up
Right.
in support of the movement. But I definitely wanted to get the police chief involved because in some way they helped with, you know, creating the route.
Right.
Even though I felt like the route could have been a lot longer.
Right.
I felt like it was shortened, but
Right. No, but, like, I will say, like, you did the route that was chosen was safe out of heavy
It was
traffic.
chosen strategically.
And
it was.
Yes.
And
We'll
there-
say that.
Yeah.
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 And there were people, the cops who were assisting to guide traffic, because I know, like, what happens is like when you don't have like, I guess someone,
City involved.
right, people start getting crazy, you know? And it's just one of those things where it's like, it felt safe, right?
Yeah.
But compared to, like, other protests, like, you know, people are just up and down downtown Dallas, and in general, like, they don't really have a route.
Yeah.
And people are talking about we need to get more organized and stuff like that. So I will say this is more organized, right?
That is the most organized protest I've ever been to in my life.
Thanks.
Like,
y'all.
legit. And you know, so that's both a positive and a negative, right?
Right.
If we want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Again, the point is to disrupt,
Right.
right? But sometimes when you disrupt, you're not always safe.
Yeah.
So sometimes you disrupt and, you know, rubber bullets get involved,
Yeah.
tear gas get involved,
Yes.
people show up with helmets and shields, right?
Right.
So, like, that was the only way they could guarantee it remained safe.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
know on the flyer it was like non-violence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hypothetically speaking, let's just say the route was altered.
Right.
So, downtown Addison, never been. Lots of restaurant, lots of stores, right? So, let's just say they chose the other direction.
Right.
Do you think, like, there would have been some issues there? Because, you know, the direction that you guys chose was less traffic.
Yeah.
There was nobody but us. Let's just be honest.
not a
Yeah,
lot,
it was
not a
nobody
lot
but
of
us.
businesses.
Yeah.
A couple like warehouses, right?
Yeah.
Went over the bridge, right? But, like, let's say it was the other direction where there are businesses,
Yeah.
Right, and we marched through the streets.
right? So,
Yeah.
like, what do you guys think would have happened then? Do you think it would still been nonviolent, or do you think maybe something would have, maybe some small mishaps would have happened? Do you guys think it would have been a different story?
Honestly, I feel like it still would have been the same because my concern is not the people.
Okay,
My concern is more on, like, how would the police handle,
right,
like, and on top of that, like, I know that the people that I invited, everyone had the same intentions, making sure that it was a peaceful protest.
right,
It's more on the retaliations of the business that don't agree with the message that we're trying to get out there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
and there are, like, business owners who don't agree with what's going on. Like,
They don't.
you hear in the grapevine all the time, like, I get it, they're upset, but, like, why are they doing this, right? And then you see all these posts like, well, forget Target. Target could go down with us, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and that's totally understandable,
Right.
right? And you in a system where honestly, like it's not fair, right? And so people are angry, and especially like we're in COVID times where it's like, why is that even an issue?
Yeah,
because we're all gonna like hypothetically
Why is that an
speaking,
issue in 2020?
right? In general, because I know like it's been going on for years. Whether and then the person who currently is in charge right now has no like great words to say about it, right? And it keeps making it worse, right? And then also like even, but I will say that protesting has created positive messages.
Yeah,
things have been getting done.
Yes.
But I know like
Yes.
I know just watching from like afar and just like backtracking to when I was young, like things happen temporarily.
Yep.
And I guess like it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And so after the protest, like after protesting, people are walking with you guys. How can like somebody continue to help the community? Because like just because you protest and let's say like
It's not the work.
they arrested one cop, right?
Yeah.
But what can they do to continue to help the community, to continue to support Black lives, right? To continue to support their friends who are Black, right? Friends and family and whatnot. What can someone continue to do after walking? Because walking is just walking.
It's just
right?
walking.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
all it is.
You're stating your opinion.
Literally
You're
just
being
walking.
emotional.
Yeah.
You're being loud and proud, right? But like, what do you do after that?
Yeah. Where does the change come? So the change for me comes in voting.
Yep.
And changing the way we police, right? Voting is huge. And I won't lie to you, like I always, haven't been the best when it comes to voting. First and last time I vote was for Barack Obama.
Right.
2 times, right? But as far as like the election last year is concerned, I didn't vote.
Right.
And I just got registered to vote this year in the state of Texas since I'm from Chicago. So like, and I'm talking to me too. Like we need to get involved in local politics,
Yeah. Okay.
because those are the people that are affecting you directly. So
Right.
people are worried about Trump and Biden and what they're gonna do, but there are representatives for the state, senators, governors, mayors, right, for the different counties. Like these are the people that you need to be talking to.
Right.
Like you need to be going to city hall meetings. So, and I'm saying this because most of the people we're mad at right now are elected officials.
Yeah.
We have got to get these people out. So instead of being pissed off, instead of being upset, instead of being up in arms, right? We have to get these people out of office and get people in who have our best interests at heart. And I'm not saying you got to know a lot about politics, but do your due diligence when that time comes and vote these people out.
Yeah.
So even with policing, let me just tell you a short story. So I went to a PWI.
What's that?
Predominantly white institution.
Okay.
So you have HBCUs. Oh, shout out to my hoodie. Support Black colleges. Yeah. You have HBCUs.
Right.
Historically Black colleges and universities, and then you have PWIs, predominantly white institutions. I went to a PWI, right? Northern Illinois University. Most people do. So out of 28,000 students, only 3,300 were Black.
Okay.
Right? Huge. And I was the president of 3 Black student organizations, and I was the one that served as the liaison between the Black students on campus and the chief of police, the Black students on campus and the mayor, the Black students on campus and the church officials, right? So anytime an issue presented itself like this, I was the one organizing the rallies, the protests, the weekly and monthly meetings, right? That was me. And I remember one of the first protests I helped organize, we were at this 4-way intersection, right? With stoplights, not stop signs, stoplights, but we're at this 4-way intersection. And so anytime the light turned red, we would take our signs and we would stand in the middle of the street until the light turned green and move, right? I remember when the light was red, one time we went out there with our signs and a civilian tried to drive through us. And actually end up running 2 people over.
Happen.
Crazy.
We've seen that happen a couple times with this recent situation.
Right. Yeah.
People called us the N-word out their window. People threw beer at us. People spit at us. Right? And the police did nothing to protect us.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a thing. And that was super eye-opening to me because we had the 2nd highest police population in the state, but we only had 3 Black police officers. They couldn't even get Black people to apply to be the police. what's black people's favorite thing to say? You know, fuck 12.
Yeah.
Right. Fuck the police, fuck the judge, fuck the PO. And it's like, nah, like if you want to make change, then you have to be in a position of power.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you can't make change from the outside looking in.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
and I know also, like, you know, us being angry at home and just speaking about it and screaming at the TV, like, it's not enough.
It's not enough. It's like, what are you doing?
And even like, so, you know, I don't know if you guys know, like, Asian households too, like, are not a fond of like black people, right? And like, I just had like one of my cousins in my group chat was just expressing to me about how she's speaking, because she's talking to somebody who is black, and she's speaking to her mother about how like her mother, you know, she's like, her mother's pretty much saying like, you would save them before you save your own race, right? And I'm not gonna lie, like, even my mom, because like she lived in Section 8 housing, she's dealt with people who are black who are like rude to her, and like,
for sure,
right?
Oh, yeah.
And so like, I had to even
for sure.
Even in college when I graduated and had a graduation party, she was shocked to see who my friends who showed up, because I don't know if you guys know me by now, like most of my friends are black.
Yeah.
If I have any Asian friends, because I'm hanging around my Asian cousins, because it's their friends, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
And ever since middle school, like, I've been around like my friends and stuff, and so like my mom was just shocked to just see that, right? And so now I also bring them around to like family parties before all this happened, right? And my mom was just like, she was like, what? You know? And I had to express to her, like, because I was dating somebody who was black.
Right.
And I was like, Mom, like, that's racist. Like, why would you even, you know? And I'm screaming and top my lungs at her. And then as I got older, she started to realize, like, that's just who my friends are.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, not to get like wrong, like, not all Asians are like this, but it's just like, specifically speaking about my mother, like, she lived in Section 8 housing with a gentleman, like, was just like always drunk across the apartment way and just speaking rude to her.
Yep.
And
For
so,
sure.
and like, kid you not, like, maybe he didn't do anything to her ever, right? But I remember like being in elementary school and like getting groceries in the middle of the night, and he's like, yo, can I like help you with your groceries? And we're like, no, it's okay, it's good. He's like, man, you guys are too independent, and going on and on. It's like, it's scary, right?
Right. For
But
sure.
then, like, you know, I had to express to my mom, like, hey, not all people who are black,
Act that way.
act that way. And also too, she was like, she got into an accident once. She was like, oh, like, this black lady pulled over and she like gave me, she's like, I'm the witness, you know? And she's like, she must have went to church. It's like, Mom, not everybody who goes to church is good. Not everybody churches go to church. Like, you know, some people who go to church, they still do things that they shouldn't be doing, right?
For sure.
Right.
And I was like, and so it's kind of like educating your family. And also at the same time too, like, you see it all the time, like every day, like even at the household now, like at the home, you know, you talk about like, hey, what's going on in the news, you know? My mom doesn't really understand English, so I'm not explaining to her what's going on. She's like, but like, I don't understand the looting part, and that part.
Oh, that's a whole different conversation.
That's a whole.
I think a part of it with that part is that like you see a lot of like, oh, it's set up, and then you see a lot of part of it is like, well, we're angry, this is what it is. But then you also see like people targeting black-owned businesses.
Yes.
And it's like, hey, like, at least do the research before you attack.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I'm not saying that I'm here for the looting, but I can understand the emotions behind the looting.
Right.
Yeah.
I truly can.
I mean, you go into stores all the time. You see it all the time. People are like, oh, yo, this lady was following me around the whole time.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm not gonna lie, you walk into Asian stores, a lot of Asian people do like nails and hair stores, right?
Right.
And you do have Asian people who are like, shit, like let me
let me
follow them around,
yeah.
and that's true.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not just Asian people; it's like all races. We're just like shit, like they're known for it. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's so sad, but
It's true.
Yeah.
It's the reality.
So coming out of this, you guys, we protested, we registered to vote, right? So attending city halls, you know, you sit there and you listen,
For sure.
right? But when do you speak up in those kind of meetings?
You speak up when you feel comfortable.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you said something, Dani, before we start talking about being a leader.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes there are way too many chiefs and not enough Indians, right?
Yep.
So it's about having somebody to speak for you and on your behalf that's in a position, right? So just going back to what you just said about that, about the family, right?
Right.
This is generational.
Right.
You got to understand that this is systemic. You know, we've been dealing with this for over 400 years.
Yeah.
And so our great grandparents passed it down to our grandparents, and they passed it down to our parents, and they passed it down to us. Like this goes way back.
Right.
Like segregation was abolished in 1954.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all understand that? Like, that's not long ago. 1954.
Right.
My mom is 61.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My mom was born in 1960 and grew up in the civil rights era.
Yeah.
My mom used to tell me stories about going to a restaurant and there being a colored entrance or a white entrance, or being denied entrance completely, or going to a colored water fountain and a white fountain, right? She was there when Malcolm X got assassinated. She was alive when MLK got assassinated. Y'all, this is not long ago. This is the 60s.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the 60s. So your parents, if they're over the age of 60, had to deal with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you and let's take it back to your culture, right? Because I think you provide a very unique perspective.
Yeah.
People were very racist toward Asians at that time.
That is true.
After World War II and Pearl Harbor,
Yep.
and the internment camps.
Yeah,
And
I work at a place where like people come up to me and are like, well, I was in your country, and I was like, okay, but I was part of the military, and I was like, okay, not a very good place. I'm like, oh.
Yo, like,
What is that
people,
supposed to mean?
old white men still talk about that,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They still talk about, oh, I served in Vietnam, and
Yes.
you know, we were over there, and we were like,
Yeah.
and they passed that down, and they passed that down, and they passed that down. Like, this has been going on so long, and we can talk about the police brutality, and we can talk about the abuse, and we can talk about the racism as far back as history is concerned.
Right.
You know, it only seems prominent now because we have social media.
Yeah.
Social media has only been around since 2004.
Yeah.
So
But if
well, let me ask you this though.
Mhm.
Everybody's putting hashtag defund the police. So what does that mean exactly? Because I know a lot of people are kind of confused to like, all right, you defund the police, but like, what happens next?
So
What does it mean exactly?
First of all, if you literally hashtag defund the police, it literally shows you like
Exactly
the
what it
money
means.
going into police
Departments.
academies,
Yep.
Right.
academy and departments.
Right. Because
Compared
on the
to,
chart, it's like police are getting a lot compared to everything else.
so much money, and it's just like, what are you putting that money towards?
Right.
Body cams. Just recently, the death of Elijah. Three officers turned off their body cams
right.
during the killing of Elijah.
And you can't turn it in because it's
Right.
off. You
It's
can't-
sad.
Yeah.
So what are you using that money for?
Right.
I think a lot of people are more woke and educating themselves when it comes to like the justice system and really
Right.
trying to figure out like, what are we putting this money towards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And defund the police does not mean get rid of police.
no, not at
It
all.
just means stop giving them so much money and put it into areas that need help as far as resources, education, and jobs are concerned.
Right.
So, using Chicago, for instance, right? I'm from Chicago, you know, new to Dallas.
Yeah.
The year I moved here was the deadliest year Chicago had in 25 years. We had over 5,000 shootings and close to 2,000
This is why like
homicides.
they say like Chicago's like
Yeah.
crime central.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I've
know,
heard- I've
it's
heard that many
really
times.
bad,
I've heard that
and the
many
Chicago
times.
public system (CPS) is absolutely horrible, which is why so many people don't donate so much money because they're very underfunded. And so when we say defund the police, stop paying the Chicago Police Department, who are corrupt as fuck, $5 million a day, and how about you pay them $1 million a day and put the $4 million in the education and jobs for the underdeserved communities.
Okay.
That's what we mean.
Right.
Like, it ain't no get rid of the police and take up community policing.
Right.
It's like, stop paying them so much, give them half that, and you take the rest and put that in areas that
Right.
matter.
Yeah.
So I know when with social media, everybody posted the black square. Now there was rules to that.
Yeah.
Now I know social media is a big deal, and I know like when they created that strategy, it was not to block out Black Lives Matter hashtag.
Yeah.
It was to
Right.
just unify people.
Stand in
right?
solidarity. Yeah.
So now if you keep looking into, you have K-pop people, which I don't even know where they came from, taking like White Lives Matter and like and putting their K-pop music in there, right?
Yeah.
So I know social media is a big deal, but like, are hashtags really that big of a deal nowadays? As we like, you know, put them on a pedestal now. Like, do they matter?
I feel like,
Good question.
honestly, I feel like, let's say I put a post of something that means so dear to me when it comes to Black Lives Matter. And let's hashtag defund the police and hashtag Breonna Taylor. If I was to click on the hashtag of Breonna Taylor, I feel like that hashtag educates me on other people's posts that they find regarding Breonna Taylor's case.
Right.
So in a way, it kind of educates us.
You stay informed.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I don't know.
So, we're waiting to vote, right? Mm-hmm. Do you guys know when is the earliest that people can vote nowadays? Not nowadays, like this time in 2020.
I heard a date. Actually, Brandon Moore just posted on his
I know, like
Instagram.
So, like, I know the voting day for Dallas for the primaries is July 15th or July 14th.
Okay.
I don't know when early voting starts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably just.
While you
heard about it.
I want you to answer. So July 4th is coming up, Independence Day of the U.S., right? And I know Juneteenth has happened. Go ahead and tell us like why a lot of people aren't celebrating July 4th. And by the time you guys watch this, July 4th has already happened.
Right.
And whatever you did or not, but it's like,
But
tell us like why.
It's like fuck July 4th because it's not for the culture. It's not for the people.
Not at all.
We were still enslaved at that time.
Yep.
And when you talk about the Emancipation Proclamation, where slavery was abolished, it wasn't abolished because Abraham Lincoln liked black people. He abolished slavery to save the economy.
Okay.
Like that was a business move at that point to prevent a civil war, which we end up having, the North against the South. So it was to stop that.
Right.
It wasn't to free black people. And again, like we were so deeply rooted in slavery at that time that even after slavery was abolished, number one, most of us didn't know. And then the people that did know chose to remain slaves because they didn't know any other way. So even though slavery is abolished, there are no black businesses. And because of segregation, I can't get groceries. I can't get health care. I can't shop. I can't get food. Right. And so we were forced to remain dependent on the plantations and the slave masters at that time because there was literally nowhere else for us to go.
Okay.
Right. And so 4th of July is celebrating the independence for a people, but not my people.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, which is why Juneteenth is so important. And, you know, we go out there and we barbecue and we cook out and we, you know, pop fireworks. But, you know, I still know in the back of my mind what this holiday really means.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Back to voting date.
Yes. So early voting in Dallas is actually on Monday, June 29th.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Through July 2nd from 8 a.m. to 5. And then it resumed back on July 5th through July 10th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay.
Cool.
So there you have it, you guys. I do want to touch upon this. No, so let's get to like conspiracies.
Ooh.
So
You want some more wine?
No, I'm good. I already had 2 cups.
Okay, you litty. All right. We gonna get more litty.
But I do want to talk about conspiracies to the point where apparently since COVID is going on, they're saying that it's unsafe to vote because you have to stand in line with all these people, right?
A fucking joke.
Right. And then you gotta wear this mask and protect yourself, right? And as you know, the numbers are going up. Do you guys believe that it's just like a government thing where COVID has just happened to be around election time?
I'm not really into conspiracy.
No, okay. I've just watched Scandal, and Scandal
I've never
kind of
watched
just
Scandal either.
You never watched Scandal?
No.
Oh,
you have to
tripping.
kind of get into it. A little bit of purpose
Really?
though, but after a while you can like
Okay.
stop watching it because I kind of just stopped. But the first couple of seasons are lit. But I'm
Okay.
just saying, it kind of just shows like a little bit about like what could be happening in our president.
For
Right?
sure.
So like, do you think COVID? It's real. COVID is real. You guys stay inside.
Yes.
Wear your
Yeah.
mask.
COVID.
Wash your hands.
And immune your body.
Yeah.
Take
And vitamin C.
Know what
Yep.
elderberry is and turmeric.
Yeah. Yeah.
But don't take it too much because it's not good for your liver
Yeah,
or
that's true.
stomach.
That's true.
Because people are overdoing it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's up.
But I will say, people are talking about COVID as like conspiracy. So they're just taking it as the flu, which is not true.
Yeah, and it's not. And I don't think COVID is a real thing, number one.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the timing is premeditated.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think this corrupt ass government is going to take advantage.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if we know anything
right.
about Trump,
I did see on social media where like they cut off lines at certain times.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys heard.
Voter
but
discrimination, yo.
It was in Atlanta. Where they literally were waiting in line for 2 to 3 hours.
and sometimes longer than that.
That's
and
crazy.
then, cutting people off.
Yeah.
Like black people make I think like 13% of the population or 14%. Okay, let me say it this way. I just purchased my first firearm, right?
Okay. How was that? I saw you on Instagram.
I was right under the couch, just right behind you.
Oh,
Danny.
God. I'm sitting on it.
Yes. So I just purchased my first gun, right? In Texas. And I've never owned a gun before. I'm like super anti-gun and gun violence.
Literally, that's me.
But I don't want to be in a position where my friends or my family or my son or my daughter are in danger.
So let me ask you.
I don't have what I need. I
There's no
don't.
kids. But let me ask you this: would you ever use your gun out of anger? Because
No.
you know how sometimes like you get so angry at somebody, you're just like
I'm about to get there though. That's the point that I'm leading to, right? So again, I just don't want to be in a situation where I'm caught lacking. So I'm like, yo, there is a massive shortage of guns and ammunition right now,
Right.
and there have been since COVID started, right? And then
and
there
it just
was
so happens to be that way.
right, and then there was
Didn't even know that.
another shortage when the protesting started. Like, you cannot find guns, you cannot find ammunition, and guess what
scary.
though? It ain't us buying that stuff. So if you go to these gun shops and these gun ranges, yo, that's all white folk buying that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So again, I don't want to be in a position where I cannot protect myself. So this is how it happened, right? So I walk in the shop and I'm making a point. I'm gonna circle back around. Okay. So I walk in the shop and I'm like, I've never owned a weapon before. Like, what would you recommend? Oh, I think you should get this Glock 17, this Glock 19, this Glock G45, whatever.
Right.
I've never even shot a gun before.
Right.
Never in my life. I shot a BB gun in Boy Scouts, like the ones that you pump.
And maybe a Nerf gun.
Yeah, a Nerf gun, water gun.
Yeah.
I ain't never shot a real gun before.
Times.
And so the guy is like, yo, for a first time, this is what I would recommend. And I'm like, okay, let me get that one. It's like $600, right? And so the guy is like,
certification.
yeah, the guy is like, give me your license. And so I give him my license and he goes back to his computer and he runs a background check.
Okay.
In less than 30 seconds, I get the green light, right? And then he's like, okay, here's your gun. And I was like,
damn, that was fast.
What?
That's so
I was like,
concerning.
So legally, anybody can own a gun as long as you don't have any felonies.
Okay.
That's so
Which is
weird.
absolutely insane.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like
So
they
as
should
long as
do
you ain't got no
mental-
fucking felonies or restraining orders, they don't do any mental health checks.
Yeah, they need to do a
don't
mental
do
health
any
check.
drug tests.
But on the news, they talk about mental health, right?
Yeah.
Right.
This person was mentally ill. That's why.
and what I'm saying is, like, what if I was angry?
right.
I could have walked in that shop and walked out with the weapon and
Within, like,
shot
going
up,
to
like, the
see
whole
the
store.
person that I was angry at. I did that shit
that's
same
so
day. So it's not like there
scary.
was a waiting period. So when you talk about your gun license, that's a license to carry. So that's a license to carry the gun on your hip,
Right.
or in a holster,
Right.
or whatever, like
Right.
open carry. But legally, anybody can own a gun for
So how do
protection
you get
purposes.
a license? Because I'm actually.
You just gotta take a class, which is
That's
great.
it.
It's a 4-hour class.
I'm pretty sure you can find it on Groupon.
I actually want to. I'm anti-guns too, but I think that it's necessary.
Get the gas.
So.
Oh, I gotta circle back around real quick.
circle back around. Let's go.
It wasn't the gun, and then don't lose that point. So the same way you can't get a gun if you have a felony, you can't vote if you have a felony.
That's bullshit.
And who are the most incarcerated people in
Black
America?
individuals.
Right.
When you look at the prison system and the prison
Yeah.
pipeline, I mean, it is freaking 3-1, 4-1, 5-1 African Americans over
Right.
other races and ethnicities.
Right.
Yeah.
And so even if we aren't incarcerated anymore, we still don't have the right to vote. And so
Yeah.
our numbers
So
are
if
drastically
you're a felon
decreased.
ever, you can't vote.
No.
You
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
change that.
Cannot vote.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there might be some policies that you can take advantage of, where you can be like reinstated or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have like
I think it's
a
just
restraining
bullshit.
order or a period of time has passed. But yeah, like that is voter discrimination, because most of the people
So
that
they
can't
pretty
vote
much
are black.
making something that sounds so easy, so hard to do.
It's hard as fuck for black people because y'all, it's fucking hoops that you got to jump through.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of red tape. And
Yeah.
if you've done this, you can't vote. If you ever done this, you can't vote. If you ever done this, when really they saying if you black, you can't vote.
You can't
Right.
vote, yeah.
Because it's only
So
black people doing
they're
that
They're
shit.
just covering it up, right? Because back in the
Covering
day
it
when
up.
Sugarcoating that
yeah,
shit.
when you couldn't vote at all, now they're just trying to make a lot of rules so you
Exactly.
can jump over like the hurdles, right?
Exactly.
So besides everything that we just talked about, if somebody who's trying to make a difference, trying to do something, and they're not protesting, let's say they're not on social media, what are 3 things I'm gonna ask each of you, 3 things you guys can do or anybody can do who wants to make a difference, wants to make a change for the future, right? And to continue on this and not just make it temporary. What can somebody do? And choose 3 things. So go ahead.
Honestly, a lot of my coworkers that wasn't really educated on like Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
Literally ask your neighbor. Educate yourself, whether it's reading a book or, Googling information.
Right.
And number 2, continue to stay informed. I feel like social media is the biggest platform to be educated on certain things. And looking up a certain hashtag like Black Lives Matter or certain hashtags such as Breonna Taylor, finding ways to like click on those links and make donations.
Yes.
And then also finding ways to get your voices heard. And I feel like protesting helps a lot. I see a lot of followers that I interact with that are continuously showing up and supporting.
I will say, shout out to Central Texas. He's always Central Track. I'm sorry. They're always going live and protesting, and just showcasing what's going on and stuff. But he's actually giving like behind the scenes, like this is what happened, especially where people were arrested at the bridge at Trinity Grove, outside of boundaries and stuff. He was giving a little feedback about that. So shout out to him for that, definitely for sure.
And shout out to DFW_protests too. Every single day, they're always
literally every day.
Literally showing
Every day.
information on
Yeah.
how, like
Where to
different type of
protest.
protests.
Yeah.
Like they are continuing to stay on top of it. So shout out to them.
Yeah,
All
for
right,
sure.
Jacob, so what are your 3 things?
You really took all of them.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Sorry.
You took the most of them though. Well, first of all, we got to stop fighting with each other.
Yeah.
Like that's what's pissing me
Yes.
off.
Right.
At this point, like
So true.
as black people, we can't agree on shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Somebody got to be right.
yeah,
gotta be
somebody
wrong.
always got to be right. Somebody
Someone
always
have the
got to be
last
wrong.
Somebody
word.
has to be the leader.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Yeah.
yo, like we at war right now,
Right.
and we can't afford to be at war and at war with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, no other race or ethnicity does that but black people. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the Asian community or in the Jewish community,
They
and the
stick
Hispanic
together.
community, like the LBGTQ, I don't know how many letters there are. The
said it right.
LGBTQ
There's a lot more letters now.
community. Yeah, I
I
think
don't
they
know.
added like 1 or 2,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna stay right there because I don't know. But those communities stick
together.
together.
Right.
And it's like all we can do is argue, even over the simplest shit like posting a black picture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
You're
like,
doing
bruh.
it wrong, but it's like, come on, like I'm doing something.
Right. I'm doing something. And I don't care how you choose to protest, just know I stand with you. So whether you choose to be on the front lines in the streets, whether you choose to sign a petition, whether you choose to donate to a charity, whether you join a black organization like NAACP or DFW Urban League, like I don't care what you do, just know I stand with you.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to, get pissed off and burn shit down and loot, I might not do it, but I'm not going to judge you for
Right,
it.
That is
right.
You
true.
know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And if I choose to be peaceful and I choose to pray and I choose to march, don't judge me.
Exactly.
Right.
Have
Right.
my
So
back
true.
regardless
Yeah.
is what we need to do. Second, we need more black people in positions of power. I
Yep.
said this.
Right.
Instead of fuck the police, nigga, be the police.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you have
And
to be
and
the
make a
change you want to see.
know?
Yeah.
And it sucks because I know, like, even watching these shows, you gotta have to like struggle and go through all the hits to just
You
make a difference.
You do.
You don't want to give up beforehand, because I know when everything, whether it's sports, whether it's like being like part of the government or anything, or even a teacher, they'll target you. They'll push you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like throwing
For
eggs.
sure.
They'll throw eggs you all the time,
Yes.
but you gotta kind of like overcome it and just
Yep.
kind of be like, all right, cool. Like they're gonna do that regardless. They're gonna hate me, but it's like I'm gonna overcome that.
Right. And we need black people everywhere.
Yeah.
we need to be everywhere. So we need to be in government.
And not just having diverse positions that people are creating
exactly.
for jobs.
You know what I'm saying? So if you look at these, oh my God, let's talk about it. If you look at these companies and social media pages and accounts like before this protest and shit, all white. Right. Now if you look at that shit, it's all black. You know what I'm saying?
Like, don't support
like,
it.
You ain't post one black picture on your page ever. Yeah. Now your last 6 posts is like black folk.
Literally. Actually, so, Revolve community got called out about that.
Give us the third one, and then we'll go into that.
Yeah, okay.
So, listen, because hey, and the third one is stay encouraged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because,
encouraged by, like, what do you mean by that?
Don't lose hope. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I got to a point where I was
what's
discouraged.
The point of this?
Yeah,
I was like, bro, like this shit is really not making a difference. Like what I'm doing, and you get discouraged and you get unmotivated.
Yeah.
And the goal is to stay encouraged, and especially with social media, we get desensitized to shit.
Yeah.
So, and especially because the media moves so fast.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So. Like
after
when I see,
week, it's just like,
so when I see another black man shot and killed in the street, I just be like, well, fuck another one. Well, fuck another one.
Right.
Well, another one. Another one. And you get to a point where you become desensitized to it, and it's almost like it doesn't matter as much.
Like it's like a normal.
Yeah, it becomes normalized. That is so bad that like seeing black people be killed is normalized.
Yeah,
it's not normal.
It's not normal at all. Like I've seen a black person get shot and killed just this year.
Jesus.
And I didn't even know how to react. Like I froze and went back to doing what I was doing because I'm like, yo, this is the norm. So normalizing abuse, normalizing trauma, can be very discouraging and unmotivating. So just stay encouraged and don't think that because this is the way it is, this is the way it has to be.
Yep.
You know?
So I know you guys, we're going to go ahead and touch upon this real quick about how companies are adding black people to their roster, right? So you kind of just, if you watch YouTube a lot, you start to see like just this continuous content, right? And out of nowhere, you see a black person hosting it. You see another black person hosting it. And they start doing like these weird topics. Like, you know, you just start to realize like, damn, like these people think like black people are just surrounded by weed. Mm-hmm. Black people and drugs. Black people and gangs. It's like, is that really how you perceive people? Yeah. And it's like these companies are allowing these topics, right? And these people who are in front of it, like being the face of this topic, it's kind of like almost embarrassing in a way because it's like, well, yeah, this topic is okay to talk about on this platform, but it's like you gotta think about like what you came beforehand.
Yep.
And so now when people watch it, they're like, this doesn't fit. Like, why are you guys talking about weed when before they were talking about bakeries?
Yep.
And baking cakes and stuff.
You ain't never cared about black people till now.
At all. Right. It's so funny.
Till 2020.
And then what they do is like they open up the job description pretty much. It's like, oh, you guys can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Forget about what you guys watched or what you guys researched or what you saw. You guys do whatever. You guys have an open field, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say in a few words, how do you feel about that?
I just feel like they're trying to like make it seem like they've been in support of black people and black communities. Like for instance, there was a scenario where this known model posted about a scenario that she had, an encounter that she had with Revolve community, where they sent her an email saying, hey, we support you. We would love to post your pictures so that we stand for you. And she posted that email and was like, no, you've never supported me. You never, you didn't even want to pay for my use of my photos.
Right.
So why all of a sudden, you're sending me an email wanting to use my photo, right? You know? And I just feel like they're taking that opportunity to just be like, to put their stuff out there like, oh, we stand for you.
So I would say it's kind of like bullshit. Brands taking like, for example, Pride.
Yeah.
Pride, is it Pride Month? Pride Week?
It is Pride Month. Yeah, it actually ends in a day.
Like, all these brands are like, I support
definitely
Pride.
Supporting that, right?
Yeah. Creating shoes about Pride.
Yeah.
But you don't see them like doing anything else about Black Lives Matter. To be honest.
Nothing. Yeah. And then most of these companies, right? Oh my God, that was the perfect example.
Yeah, that was.
I remember Pride Month. I was in Chicago and I was walking down Michigan Avenue, and every single store had a Pride display.
Yeah.
Every single store.
Right.
Like they don't give that same energy to the Black Lives Matter.
And now, like, they're having employees like, so during Pride Week, you could wear colorful stuff.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently,
when you work
at Starbucks, wherever you can't wear Black Lives Matter, even if it's jewelry, right?
Like, come on,
bro. So in one word,
so
you guys, I know like this probably would be part 2. how would you pertain like what's going on in the world right now comparing to like how Black Lives Matter is not being talked about? How, like, let's say, don't get me wrong about Pride community, right? It's talked about more than it is Black Lives Matter now.
That's true.
Right? But, like, give us one word of how you feel about that.
I would probably say discouraged.
Okay. What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, just upset. Like, literally just upset. Like, black people did not just start existing.
Mm-hmm.
We literally been here.
Right.
And we are your largest consumers when it comes to almost everything.
Yeah.
We support everyone, and that's
You know
the
what I'm
thing.
saying?
I think we've been more active with supporting Black
For sure.
business
We have.
businesses.
I will say, I will give a shout out to Leah Frazier.
Oh, Leah, meant
that's
for the
my-
culture.
Look,
Hey.
Who,
she is. Much
Shout out
love.
Leah. Think 3
Where's the
Media.
camera at? Much love.
Shout out Leah.
She's
Yes.
honestly, I've seen her post about the whole on Juneteenth.
And Bree Clark, too.
Everybody take a picture of a receipt supporting
Yes.
black businesses.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be real with you guys. There's a lot of black businesses that I support.
Yep.
And they have better products than what is like
Yes.
Yeah.
commercially out right now.
Yeah.
Target.
You know? And
No offense to Target.
no, but I would say Target is selling black owned business products
They are.
such as
They
sunscreen
actually
and
are.
whatnot.
And they've been more vocal, too.
But
have been. They
but I
have
will
been.
tell you this: I've been to Target a few times, have not been able to find a black-owned business. The Black Girl sunscreen have
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
I'm not,
Okay.
and I'm not buying it for myself. Okay, the one thing, but it's just the fact that like you don't see it in stores, but you see people posting about it because it is able to be bought online. But I've been to Target. I go to Target every day now because of COVID.
That's true.
But I don't
Same.
see it. I don't see it.
Yeah.
So, to be real with you guys, these businesses support Black lives, but they're not supporting in the open.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Closeted
you got to think about that.
supporters.
Like they send you emails like we support it, but are they dressed as it?
Exactly.
I'm
Because
a poet speaking metaphorically.
no,
Yeah.
real talk. Because a lot of them are sending these messages out like, "Oh, we stand."
We stand for you and stuff like that.
But what they're
But are you
saying
gonna wear
is
this every day?
right.
Yeah.
What they're saying is we stand for inequality. We stand for injustice.
Right.
No, fuck that. I need you to in your email say Black Lives Matter, like specifically Black Lives Matter, because they be pitching that all lives matter
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
Which can be an argument.
but all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
I hate it when they
Ain't
respond
we
to
included?
that. I hate you guys that respond
in
to
that?
that shit.
All lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. So all these
Yeah,
companies
that shit-
coming out saying all lives matter, we're against injustice, F you too, because I need you to say black and black people specifically. We stand with the black community specifically.
Yeah.
So like when these companies, even the companies that do come out and say, "Oh, we support the black community," bro, 1% of your employees are black, and you have no black people on your executive board.
Yeah.
So, do you really rock with black people like that,
Or are you just going in with the
talking
movement?
to talk?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just saying something so you don't get canceled.
Exactly.
You feel
So-
like you saying something because you have to.
So what I feel, you guys, and listeners, listen. You guys are like, we're like, this is different. But Unspoken Words is about speaking things that we don't really speak about in public, right? And I honestly love this conversation just because, like, I have a lot of friends who just are like posting things that are like abnormal,
Yeah.
and it's going back to normality of posting selfies and stuff,
Right.
Because
Little bit,
what's
yeah.
going on right now is like kind of like semi dying down.
Yeah.
So I would say we would have a part 2 if you guys are down for that.
Yes.
Anytime you want me on the show, pull
Let
up.
me know,
So-
girl.
so
I
we're
I'll
got
be in this
you.
joint by myself.
So that means 83 will be part 2 of this conversation.
Yes.
But before we go with this episode for 82, go ahead and put your social media there. Go ahead and you start first, then we'll go to Jacob.
Hi, I'm on Instagram. Daniela, Daniela, U_model. Okay.
And you gotta say on Instagram too, because I'm not on LinkedIn. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
on
was like-
Facebook.
Really? You're not?
I'm on
just
Facebook,
IG.
but
LinkedIn
that's
is, like,
like for the
professional.
family. You feel
And
me?
then I just go on Twitter for like memes, but I'm not
I
like
haven't been on Twitter
posting.
in about 2 years.
Hey, Twitter's lit though. It's
It
probably
has
the-
been,
it's
yeah.
probably the
It hasn't
funniest
really
platform.
changed. So if you left, you came back, you're not gonna miss out.
Nah, miss anything.
Okay, because I was like, I haven't been there. in a minute.
Look me up on Instagram at _JC Scott. J is in Jacob, C is in Clayton, SCOTT.
Make sure you put that underscore too.
Yeah.
Yeah, put that underscore in the
And
front.
then also,
know.
you need if you're like trying to be professional and get your suits done, like
Oh,
hook him
yeah.
up, bro. Like he's legit.
Oh yeah, we do it for real. Well, we appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you guys.
Yes,
Honestly,
I'm excited.
I love the fact that Unspoken Words can come back strong, but also speak about what's going on.
Yeah.
But also, at the same time, these are conversations that we're probably having at home, but you won't speak aloud in public.
Yeah.
Right.
So whatever you support, make sure they're able to wear it 24/7, and not just wear it just because it looks good for the time being, right?
Yeah.
All right, you guys, and we out.